Hello everybody. As you know, the interest rates have been increasing, if not skyrocketing over the last few weeks. Now the banks have responded to this by making the affordability calculations much more difficult for property landlords by increasing something called the stress test. This is certainly not good news for landlords. In today's video, we're going to talk about what stress test actually means and what impact it could have on you as a property landlord, and what strategies you need to follow in order to minimize the impact of the stress test increase. Thank you for joining our channel today. We are WIS Group. We specialize in accountancy, mortgages, insurance, pension and investments. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so. And if you like our video, please do give us a thumbs up. So what is a stress test? A stress test is where, even if you borrow at a lower interest percentage, the bank looks at the worst case scenario and they look at a higher interest percentage. For example, if somebody is borrowing at 6%, the bank will do a what if analysis to say, what if the interest rate goes up to 7.5%, or what if the interest rate goes up to 8.5%? They will do that calculation in the back end to see whether you can afford the mortgage. Let's now look at some examples which will make things much clearer. Let's say you borrowed 100,000. In the past, the banks would have stress tested you at 5.5%. So that means if you're a basic taxpayer, they would have expected a rent of £573. But if you're a high rate taxpayer, you would have expected to earn £665 as rent to make things work. There are a few banks who stress test at 7%. So if you look at one of those examples, if you're a basic taxpayer, you're expected to earn a rent of £729, and a higher taxpayer, it's £845. Let's look at the extreme case, because there is one bank who stress tests you at 8.49%. Now, if you go to that bank, if you're a basic taxpayer, you're expected to earn rental income of £884 on 100,000. But if you are a high rate taxpayer, you're expected to earn £1,025. Now that's a massive jump from £665 from the past. So it's very important to understand what your options are. So therefore, let's look at some strategies that you might be able to follow in order to make things a little bit more easier for yourselves. So I've listed down 6 points that you might want to go through. Tip number 1, some of the lenders allow you to remortgage 6 months in advance. In the past, this used to be 3 months, so it might be a good idea to make use of it, where still lenders are stress testing at 5.5%. I know some lenders have increased it, but some lenders are still using the old rate. So therefore, if your remortgage is due within the next 6 months, it's probably good for you to look at it ASAP. Tip number 2, you might be charging lower rents at the moment. If you look at the rental market, it has gone up over the last few months. One of the reasons being this, it might be worth considering increasing your rent, because that would sort part of your problem. Tip number 3, consider longer term deals, because with longer term deals, banks are a little bit more relaxed on the stress test. So that might help you. But the problem you have with longer term deals is it may have a penalty clause, or we call it early repayment charge. So that might impact you. Tip number 4, if you have spare cash, it might be worth considering putting that into your mortgage, because the stress tests are going to be very stringent going forward. So therefore, it may be worth considering putting some money into your mortgage. Tip number 5, consider a variable rate mortgage. With variable rates, banks are a little less stringent and they are a little bit more relaxed with variable rate mortgages when it comes to borrowing. Tip number 6, if your mortgage deal is not finishing for the next 6 months and you got say 1 year or 2 years to go, you probably want to consider consulting one of the advisors from your bank or someone like a mortgage broker who might be able to guide you on what you need to do. Because from what we understand, the stress test is here to stay for the short run at least, because the interest rates are quite high. So therefore, you might want to come up with a plan. So if your deal is not finishing in the next 6 months, my advice is speak to somebody who can guide you on this. Thank you again for watching our channel. If you have any comments, feel free to leave it in the comment section. Or if you want to contact us, our contact details will appear at the end of this video. Feel free to call us or email us. Thank you very much.